Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. The search for a new world champion on Raw continues as 6 SmackDown superstars square off for a chance to face Seth Rollins at Night of Champions for the WWE's new world title. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the 12th May edition of the Blue Brand, as well as all the wildest wrestling news, stories, and rumors you need to know, including Bobby Lashley busted open on SmackDown, is The Rock returning to the Fast and the Furious franchise, and more. As always, we won't recap the matches, but look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. The good. 3 solid championship contender matches. While Triple H has committed himself to putting on high-quality matches on Raw and SmackDown, tonight's World Championship contender matches took things to a higher level. Edge vs. Rey Mysterio vs. AJ Styles, and Bobby Lashley vs. Sheamus vs. Austin Theory were phenomenal triple threat matches. The first was a babyface vs. babyface classic, or should that be babyface vs. babyface vs. babyface classic? Where all 3 superstars wrestled like their careers were on the line. While the second triple threat featured a heel, it was another barn burner, as was the semi-final match between AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley. SmackDown featured some tough competition from sports playoffs, which is why the WWE delivered 3 PLE quality matches on free TV. Regardless of WWE's reasons, the fans were the winners. AJ gets the win. Things are looking up for AJ Styles after he defeated Bobby Lashley to advance to the finals for Raw's new World Championship at Night of Champions. Styles was in a bit of a rut before the ankle injury that sidelined him for months, with the phenomenal one often putting other wrestlers over to make them look good. Even the OC's return didn't do much. However, tonight's win over the Almighty suggests he may be ready for a push, and even if Styles loses to Rollins, which isn't a certainty as there's speculation AJ could emerge as champion, the WWE may have big things in mind for him on SmackDown. Whether this is a shot against US Champion Austin Theory or Undisputed Champion Roman Reigns remains to be seen. Asuka's long overdue heel turn. There's not much to say about Asuka's heel turn other than it's about time. The WWE has shown the Empress of Tomorrow returning to the aggressive style that made her unbeatable in NXT, but inexplicably, the WWE dragged its feet with the heel turn heading into WrestleMania. That's no longer the case, and hopefully Asuka will get championship gold around her waist. WWE not wasting time with newly promoted NXT stars. NXT fans had to be happy to see the WWE using some of its recently promoted superstars on SmackDown. Although some fans might be less than thrilled with Cameron Grimes squashing Baron Corbin, or Grayson Waller's first segment being an angle to set up his talk show, it seems like the WWE has plans for both men as well as other NXT call-ups. The bad. Tag team title props. The WWE continues to devalue its tag team titles as both the Women's Tag Team Championship and the Undisputed Tag Team Championship have become little more than props to further storylines that don't involve the champions. In the case of the women's belts, the WWE had the champions defend the belts against Damage Control's Dakota Kai and Bayley just to further Damage Control's breakdown. Likewise, the WWE set up the tag match between champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa to show how the bloodline is ready to crumble. This wouldn't be a problem except the WWE hasn't elevated the Women's Tag Team Championship in any way. Furthermore, it's lazy booking to have 2 title defenses with the same storyline subject. Finally, why are KO and Sami defending the belts against 2 SmackDown stars when the WWE stated that the belts are exclusive to Raw? WWE botches graphic for Women's Tag title. A rare production glitch for the WWE's Women's Tag Team Championship, as a video showed the women's tag belts only for them to transform into the Intercontinental Championship. And the Academy Award goes to Bianca Belair. Asuka's less than shocking heel turn featured an unintentionally hilarious moment by Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair after the Empress of Tomorrow spit poison mist into the EST's face. Not since Shawn Michaels bumped like a rubber ball at SummerSlam for Hulk Hogan have fans seen such an oversell by a wrestler. Asuka even took to social media to inform fans that she added chili pepper to her mist, as if it's not already potent enough. Potential for disaster, Roman is tag team champion, and why isn't he defending his title? The WWE's announcement that Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa will challenge Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship at Night of Champions is a disaster waiting to happen. While Wrestlelamia knows the tag team title match is all about the Bloodline's continued crumbling, the match presents two problems. The first is the possibility of Reigns and Sikoa winning the titles. While Wrestlelamia thinks that's unlikely to happen, you can never be certain, knowing the WWE's fondness for finding new ways to elevate Roman Reigns at the expense of others. The second problem is that the WWE is wasting a Reigns appearance on a tag team title match rather than having him defend the Undisputed Championship. The Downright Ugly. Nothing ugly. SmackDown's 3 matches in the world title contest made tonight's edition, regardless of the rest of the program. While the 12th May Blue brand had some structural issues in terms of creative, there was nothing that stood out as ugly. News. How is Sami Zayn able to work in Saudi Arabia? Topping today's news is the WWE's announcement that KO and Sami Zayn will defend the Undisputed Tag Team Championship against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa at the WWE's upcoming Saudi Arabia PLE. Some fans are scratching their heads over a complete change in policy from the Saudi government. Saudi officials have banned Zayn from performing in their country ever since the WWE began running shows there. While that's true, it appears that the political scene has changed dramatically. Ringside News' Subhajit Mukherjee is reporting, according to a report by CNN, Saudi Arabia and Syria have resumed work of diplomatic missions in both countries as they aim for long-term prosperity. The two nations have been at odds for well over 10 years after Riyadh cut ties with the Syrian government over the handling of its civil war. While this story remains unconfirmed, it is a dramatic change as Kevin Owens refused to work in Saudi Arabia as long as his BFF Sami was banned. Indeed, when rumors surfaced that the Undisputed Tag Team Championship would be defended in Saudi Arabia, fans thought this meant the Usos would defeat KO and Sami for the belts 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, since Owens and Zayn presumably wouldn't work at the show. More details on WWE's sales negotiations. Some surprising revelations have emerged on the WWE's sales negotiations earlier this year. According to WrestleNomics, from January 17th to April 2nd of this year, over 60 potential counterparties, including strategic companies, financial sponsors, family offices, and sovereign wealth funds, were in contact with WWE about buying or merging with the company. Ultimately, the WWE decided to pursue a merger with Endeavor, a deal that is still being processed. Are some superstars happy to have Vince back? Fans have heard a lot about WWE staff and superstars being upset following Vince McMahon's return to the company, especially since the workplace seemed to mellow under Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's leadership. However, not everyone is sad to see Mr. McMahon back in the driver's seat. Pro Wrestling Torch's Wade Keller commented on his podcast that some wrestlers are at least happy to have Vinnie Mac back, as they feel McMahon will push them more than Triple H. New themes coming for WWE superstars? Are some of WWE's superstars getting a music overhaul? That's the rumor coming from Twitter account Boozer Wrestling, which tweeted, "By the way, a lot of revamped themes will happen over the next 3 months. New songs and artists. Some movement happening in that department. I'll confirm when possible." No word on who is getting new themes, but hopefully the WWE won't replace good themes with average or subpar ones. Bobby Lashley busted open. Tonight's triple threat match between Sheamus, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley featured a spot where Bobby Lashley was busted open, leading to WWE officials having to help stop the bleeding. Sportskeeda's Spandon Chatterjee described what happened. In an outside of the ring spot on WWE SmackDown, Bobby Lashley was brawling with Austin Theory. The latter used an Irish whip and smacked Lashley's head onto the steel steps. Moments later, he was seen holding his head while the camera blacked out on a few occasions to hide the blood gushing from the side of his head. The Almighty pressed on, pinning Theory in the triple threat, but coming up short against AJ Styles in the semifinals. Is The Rock returning to the Fast and Furious franchise? Last but not least, spoilers on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's potential return to the Fast and Furious franchise. You may recall that Johnson had appeared in several editions of the popular film series, including the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw. However, Johnson made it clear in 2021 that he wasn't returning to the franchise, despite an online plea from the franchise's lead, Vin Diesel, to return. Johnson told CNN that Diesel's post only reinforced his decision to leave the franchise. Vin's recent public post was an example of his manipulation. I didn't like that he brought up his children in the post, as well as Paul Walker's death. Leave them out of it. We had spoken months ago about this and came to a clear understanding. Now, The Wrap is reporting that Johnson is back. Surprise! Dwayne Johnson has returned to the Fast and Furious franchise, making an appearance in the post-credits sequence for the upcoming Fast X out next Friday, May 19th. The Wrap has exclusively learned. What do you think of The Rock's return to the Fast and Furious franchise? Well guys, there you have it, Wrestlemania's look at the 12th May edition of SmackDown, including the good, the bad, and the downright ugly, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know in wrestling. Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.